Good evening. Well, it's dark out. I'm doing some evening work out here on the bench. Okay, you're probably wondering what this Rube Goldberg arrangement is that I have here. I took the switch and I stuck it backwards into the generator here, the signal tracer, so that I can clean these pins off, because I don't have a little vise to hold that piece in there. I do have a small vise, but it's in the big shed, and it's not really made for holding something like this, but it would work. What I'm going to do is fire up the new soldering station I got here, and I've got some solder wick here that will be probably better. What I'm going to do is, let's see if my reading glasses are going to be okay for that, or maybe this. Let's just see. I want to see if it's going to be in your way here. Okay, there's my hand there. It's hard to see an 1.5-inch viewfinder in that camera. Alright, so I guess it's not really in the way. No. Okay. So, we got the soldering station on. Heating up. Not quite hot yet. And we're going to try to clear these pins off. I wish there was a little more magnification here. Almost. Almost. I think we'll use some solder wick here. Been a long time since I did this. My eyes are just not cooperating. I guess I got some off of there. If I can get the other side here. Can't quite see that solder wick, if it's on there or on the side of it or what. Never had much luck to doing this. I usually just tack them on there. I don't usually try to clean the terminals off. I usually just tack them on. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I think we'll just put fresh solder on them and tack them back on there. Not doing too good. I'll do it the old-fashioned way. The the old-fashioned way here. Just pick it out the best I can, and just, as long as there's a hole there I can get the wire through. Switch is all loosening up here on me. I need to get my eye lope out. I can't tell if the hole is clear there. I gotta get the eye lope out. Hang on a minute. Alright, I'm gonna check the continuity of the switch to make sure it's working before I proceed to mount it. I cleaned out the holes pretty good. It's not perfect. I just can't hold the... I cannot work with an eye lope attached to my eye. In other words, I gotta hold this. I cannot work with it in my eye. It's very uncomfortable. I don't like the feeling of it. And the Harbor Freight just isn't... I have to get right up on top of it. So, there's no happy medium with me. So, we're going to put the lead on the switch here. And, these wires here so they're not in your way. Alright, let's just check to make sure we're getting zero, okay. Alright, so right now I gotta get my eye lope out again. Between, I don't know if you can see this. Alright, I wish I could get closer. I'm going to have to get the Samsung out if we have to get closer. But, alright, this pin, in the resting position, this pin and this pin is connected together. So I should get a closed reading on that with the ohm meter. And I do. Okay. These two here are making contact. And these two here, this one here is making contact. And when I turn the switch over here, these two making contact and the end one isn't. Then when I go all the way over to the end, I'm getting contact. So, in other words, all of these contacts are working. I'm struggling here with my eyesight. Either got too much solder on it, runs down into the switch, but not enough. It's not too pretty. It's not too pretty in there. Can't even see to trim it off. It's in there the best I can do. It's not very pretty, but it's in there. Alright, we'll finish this off camera here. Okay, I got the switch in and tightened up. We'll turn it on. Put it on RF. We'll make sure we don't put it on noise. We don't touch this. Well, that's not an electrolytic. eyes nice and bright. Yeah. Now, the question is, are we on, I put the wires on the correct way. This is supposed to be the noise portion here. Not getting any spark. Turn this down a little bit here. Let's put a meter on that and see what we got. I'll move the soldering. Soldering station works excellent. Works excellent. Alright, we're getting a lot of reflection, so I shut the magnifier light off. I hope you can see that. Get that a little bit closer here. So you can see that. I hope you can see that alright. Yeah, we'll turn it that way. Then we're getting the overhead light reflection. Nothing much I can do about that. We'll move it a little bit now. Alright. We're going to put the ground lead on the chassis here. And we'll touch this one on RF now. I think that's millivolts. Yeah. Alright, audio. Millivolts. And noise. No, we're not getting any high voltage out. Maybe it comes out of here. Yeah. This is the one it comes out of, not here. I thought it came out of here. We're getting 179.4 volts out of it on the noise. And alright, it's just in the millivolts. In other words, we're not getting anything out of it essentially. And same way with this one. So the noise comes out of here. So that works out good. If I want to use this, I can use it just as is for the noise, and we'll know that's why they made it red, I guess. So, okay, so that seems to be working very well. Audio. Boy, that's sensitive as hell. And if you short it out, short it out, see? Some of these had a little cap with a chain on them. I think this precision units had it, but that would cut that hum out. That's just picking up stray audio magnetic fields and so forth, because there isn't any shielded wire going to here. Well, that's good to know. I had thought that the high DC voltage would be coming out of here. So what I can do is put a BNC here. I'll have to order some. I have to find out where I can get the BNCs with the Teflon, not the plastic, because you know the Teflon, if you solder too long on them, they'll melt. So I got to get a BNC chassis mount connector with Teflon, and I want to get a few of them so I can modify some of the older equipment as I get it. I'm going to be getting a couple more pieces of equipment thanks to another good buddy of mine. And I'll be making a video on that when that comes in. So we know that this is the high voltage, so we don't have to worry about getting the shock off of this one. That's all the way up on noise. On audio, it's a little louder, and on RF, it's really loud. Of course, I had the volume way up. Now, we're going to check the watt meter section out here. There's quite a few videos on this particular unit on YouTube. Fino gave me a lot of sites, different channels. I watch most of them, and basically it just tells you about the unit and how some of these guys are, describing them, and whether or not, whether they're restoring them or not, I don't know, but I think they're basically just discussing them. So we're going to check the wattage on this, and we got to find something to put in here for the wattage. Alright, I don't know if you can see the eye on that. Let me just move you up a little bit. Yeah, I can see it on there. Okay, I just want to make sure. I got my old trusty soldering iron, 100 and 140 watts. So what we're going to do, and it's got a fuse in here. I have not tried this, so I don't know if this part is working. But keep an eye on the eye tube. When we go to watts, the eye tube don't light, and neither does the watt meter. That's supposed to have power to the watt meter, but the only time that eye will come on is when I'm on a trace, in other words, a signal tracer, and that's it. The second one is test amplifier speaker. That shuts the eye off, and when you're in the watt meter, it shuts the eye off. So I don't know why. This obviously needs some more troubleshooting. So I won't be able to demonstrate the watt meter for you tonight. But as a audio amplifier signal tracer, that part is working very well. Alright, I did find something here. There's a diode. Looks like a 1N60 or 1N34A or something like that. A little diode, but that's a signal diode. I don't see how that could possibly stop the watt meter and the eye, shutting the eye off and knocking the voltage, preventing the voltage from coming in on the eye tube. But anyways, we're going to pull out the schematic on this. We're going to do it in the house because it's late here, and I'm just working a little bit out here tonight. But we'll come back on this video in a day or so. We have some items coming in, so we may have to stop to do videos on those. But I can't see how this little diode would actually affect that. But I want to find out what that is, and I don't even know. That's awful small. I don't think that should be there. Wouldn't think there'd be a small one, diode like that in there. But I'm going to look at this because I can't get close with this camera anyways. I'm going to look at this off camera now, and I'll just see if I spot anything else wrong here.